Waters fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey everybody, welcome back to a King of the Hill Rewatch podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
And we are here, Rusty, watching these episodes one by one, and we are all the way up to Season 1, Episode 2.
Yep, January 19th, 1997, the Square Peg episode.
Yeah. So I feel like it's my duty to keep up with the intro to the show. I want it to be known that there was no scream or a triangle.
No scream, no triangle.
In the
right.
open, it's just the song. Yeah,
just the song this time. But also, if you're going to keep up with the intro, what was unique about this intro?
Oh, shoot.
It's the first full
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it is the first full alley
Yeah.
shot. Yeah, you're right. Because the first one was around the truck.
Yeah, the first one was around the truck, and then the mosquito fly-in.
Yeah. So we get in there, and first thing we see is the Substitute Teacher of the Year 1996 award.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peggy working on a paper by Jay Brown, which I can assume is one of her students,
and she's in in her office, which is the quote unquote water heater closet.
It's a closet. Yeah. She's working on it. It is the paper was dated, and this is stupid, but the paper was dated 12/19/96, and she thinks for a second and then just writes a B. Like, she didn't read it.
She didn't read it.
or anything.
She just kind of looked at his name and
B.
A B student.
Yeah. And then Hank calls her and she goes, "I'm in my office."
Yeah, and that's what made me laugh, because she's sitting there,
You see the folding chair,
and you see it throughout the whole show. Like her office is this water heater closet.
It's just a water heater closet. And then Hank is having problems with his back.
Yeah, little back issues.
Yeah, so she asked him about wearing the belt, and he said it's not a belt, it's a girdle.
Yeah, it's not a belt, it's a girdle.
It's a girdle. And she leaves to get something that I feel, I understand this product is probably nationwide, but here in Texas, I've heard it more times in my life than probably any other state, I think. She left to go get the Icy Hot.
The Icy Hot, yeah.
Yeah.
I think up north they call it Bengay, but I think if you're from the south, it's mostly Icy Hot is what we get down here regionally.
And then Bobby walks in and he's like, "Not in front of the boy."
Yeah, not in front of the B-O-Y.
The B-O-Y.
Yeah, she takes
That's
his
right.
shirt off. He takes his shirt off, and this is also the first appearance of Hank's Farmer's Tan. He has one of the best Farmer's Tans you could get in Texas. So I think that's another like illustration of Texas. That Farmer's Tan?
Yeah,
because
I think a lot of people would argue with us, people that are in primarily farming states or whatever. But to us, that's the norm.
That's the norm.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of Texas was settled by Germans and Czechs and stuff like that from a really pale part of the world. So.
So Bobby comes in the room and he's looking for a signature or a couple of signatures on his permission slip. He has to. Hank's like, "Oh, okay, great. Is it for contact football, ringworm test?"
Yeah, can't be contact. You're too young for that.
That's right. And so Bobby's no, it's sex ed.
And that's a point of contention for these guys.
Huge
sex
point
ed?
of contention.
Oh.
Yeah.
He said, "What does a boy at your age need to learn sex ed for?" Yeah.
What I've got written down here is Washington Bobby, go to your room.
Oh yeah, when he got in trouble for him, yeah, because he said it's some curriculum that Washington's teaching wants us to learn. And he goes, "Oh, Washington, go to your room."
Bobby, go to your room. And he talks about Bobby getting all bothered up and how he can't do anything.
He can't do anything at your age,
especially for a boy with his features.
With your features, yeah, a boy with his features. Not even worried about the fact that he's 11 years old.
No,
he's just like a boy with your features. No way.
It's just a dumpy boy. Is what it is. So both Hank and Peggy talk about how this should all be taught in the home, and I've just got quote unquote sexual relations. Because Hank ends up going and talking to Bobby.
Yeah, he goes and talks to Bobby, and I guess
is it Hank talking to Bobby?
No, it's Peggy. Peggy goes first.
To Bobby.
Peggy goes first while Hank's standing down in the alley with the boys. So Peggy goes in to try to talk to him, and she can't even say the word penis.
Right.
And Bobby finally says, she says to Bobby, "So do you know the difference between a boy and a girl?" And she's sitting there she struggles to say it, and then Bobby just goes, "Penis." And then she just looks dead ahead and like a deadpan stare to the wall, gets up and then leaves the room. And then out in the alley, you've got all the guys standing around drinking beer while they're trimming this tree, which becomes like a point in the...
Hang on, I want to say something before you start talking about the tree. But Bobby has the best quote in this entire show, where he says he's a little worried about becoming a slut.
Oh yeah, that part I forget. Yeah, you can't skip that part. That's the best part of the whole show. Yeah,
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
And then Peggy kind of goes, well, okay.
But she literally just gets up and leaves the room. Doesn't say a
just
thing.
Left. Yeah.
And then, like you say, we go out to the alley, and there's a tree that
they're
trimming.
out there with a pole saw. And they're I think it's actually
it's Boomhauer that's up on it
at first. And it's
because
funny.
Hank's mad at him. He goes, if you're gonna prune, Boomhauer, prune.
Yeah. And then it's funny because while he's pruning, he starts going, hold on, his Boomhauer speech.
Sure.
And then he goes, and then the tree falls, and he goes, what do you say? Timber or something.
Timber.
Yeah, watch out. And it hits the ground. Heads up. And it's already on the ground.
As it hits, yeah. Yeah. Bill gives us some sage advice about how the Army taught him everything.
How he could
including how to pick up a bar girl in the Philippines.
Yeah, he says the Army taught us everything we needed to know in 4 languages.
He said I can pick up a girl in the Philippines by saying some hoe or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Dale has to chime in. Dale is talking about how they're trying to do population control.
Population zero.
This is all part of the UN. That's right.
Population zero.
They keep us down, and then the Chinese come marching in. Yeah.
Which is now the second mention of the UN and conspiracy theories related to the UN from Dale.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is he uses the UN as a scapegoat for a lot of different conspiracy theories.
I like they're you're talking about the Boomhauer speak, and he's like, oh, dang old condom dispenser, 50 cents, dang old her needs.
Yeah. He was talking about her needs. He was talking about a condom machine. Yeah.
And then, of course, we move on to Hank talking about how his dad taught him everything he needed to know about sex ed. He said Cotton took him to the farm.
Took him to a cattle farm, and then it kind of does like it does a flashback, and it's you got Cotton, the same height as his son at this time, and of course his son is 11. He's sitting up on the deal, and he's like, "Woo, hell of a show! What are you crying for, boy?" It's 2 cows having sex, and he's sitting here screaming and cheering him on while his son's sitting here bawling his eyes out.
And Hank says something about he taught me everything I needed to know about that, and paying taxes somehow.
Yeah, he said that he took him back to show him. Yeah, he took him back to go see the cows having sex to teach him about taxes.
That's right. So next scene, we see we got Bobby and Hank in the truck, and they're driving. They pass the Dairy Queen and the Whataburger.
Yeah, first appearances of 2 Texas staples.
And so he's going to take Bobby out to the dairy farm, just like Cotton did for him, to show him what relations look like.
But Mike, that's where they run into a kind of a traffic jam there.
Sure.
The difference would be in I imagine the 60s is probably when Hank was probably growing up.
Yeah.
There
60s, 70s,
there was probably lack of artificial insemination at that time. They probably weren't really doing too much machine work. So when they go to the farm, it's machine. It's a machine farm. It's all
United Dairy Milk Conglomerate.
Yeah, it's no longer mom and it's no longer mom and pop's dairy farm.
Right. And the machine being used is the Bull Plus Matchmaker 500.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So that Hank sees that. And Bobby gets a little traumatized, big saucer eyes.
Yeah.
And the next thing you got is Hank and Peggy looking for the pieces of the permission slip.
Yeah, taping it back together.
They're like, screw this.
They've realized that their upbringing, their modesty, because another scene where Peggy gets a book. I can't remember the name of the book now, but it was something about. The lovely women.
The loveliness of woman.
The loveliness of woman, yeah.
That's right.
And it's just got all these pictures of flowers in it. Which, earlier on they're sitting at a baseball game, one of Bobby's baseball games, and she's sitting there with, I think that's later on, actually, in the episode.
It is.
Okay, we're not there yet. I'll wait then.
We'll
get
there.
I'm pushing forward.
No, you're good. You're good. We also... now we're part of a conversation between Luann and Peggy.
Oh, we're at that. Okay, yeah.
And Luann is informing Peggy how there are no longer 14 stages of arousal. Now there's 18.
18 stages of arousal.
Right. And she shows her some pictures, and she goes, "Is that C. Everett Koop?"
Yeah, and then she looks at Luann and she goes, "How could you just be so shameless?"
She goes, "What's it like to live without shame of any kind?"
Yeah, to live without shame.
Yeah, and then we see the flashback with Peggy where she gets the loveliness of woman from her mother.
Yeah, she gets the loveliness of woman from her mother, and then which is just a book of flowers.
It's just a book of flowers, yeah. and then we go back to regular times, and Peggy goes, "I never even kissed a boy till he was 20. He's dead now."
Yeah.
And then Hank freaks out a little bit about he sees the picture of an inside of a woman's womb.
My boy doesn't need to see the inside of a woman's womb. He's only 11.
He's only been out of years for 11 years.
Been out of years for 11 years.
That's right. So next we transition to Bobby and Joseph. Bobby's giving away his action figures to Joseph because he thinks
they're not just action figures though.
Right.
It's Chandler and Ross from Friends.
I wrote it down. I wrote down Bobby and Joseph Friends action figures for some reason. Yeah, so he's giving them away, and he says he doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah, doesn't need them
because he's going to find somebody who wants to have sex with him.
Yeah, he goes. That's what Joseph says. Well, who? He goes, "Well, I don't know. Anybody that wants to have sex.
Anybody that wants to have sex with me." That's right. Yeah, that was. I love the addition of the Friends action figures.
Yeah, I thought that was cool adding Friends in too. Friends right there. That was at the height of his popularity. It was 97.
It's just so ridiculous though.
Yeah,
Friends
but it's so
figures.
To have. Yeah, just to have the action figures in there, and just to have Bob. Yeah. Well, it's really, I think it really shows a lot of Bobby's character and Bobby's uniqueness and weirdness that you get out of Bobby is him having those two characters,
right? Absolutely,
as toys. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want Chandler or do you want the other one? Okay, and now we get to the meat of the matter here, and this is the meat of the matter where Dale has found out that they have found some other depraved harlot to teach sex ed.
Yeah, because Dale calls the actual health teacher,
right?
And then the threatens her,
yeah.
And then the school picks, old Peggy Hill, the substitute teacher, to fill the role.
Absolutely.
And Peggy Hill, that's what she says. She goes, some right-wing nut called the school and threatened the health teacher, so she quit.
Dale gives a veiled threat to kill whoever replaces her.
Whoever replaces her. And then
they're talking about how it's going to be intimidating for Hank because Peggy's going to know everything about sex.
Oh, yeah, he's getting ribbed by everybody on the alley, for sure. And he's still standing there with the pole saw trimming this tree at this point.
Yes.
And then
that poor tree.
And then like the camera, I think at this point it goes to Bill, it goes to Bill, and then Bill says something, and they look up at the tree, and the tree it's phallic at this point.
Right.
And Bill goes, maybe you should talk to Sigmund Freud. Right. And then Hank looks up and goes, oh, and he starts pole sawing the bottom of the tree to cut it down.
I do want to bring up that at some point, private parts were mentioned as dinkies and woohoos.
Yes, dinkies, woohoos. That was actually the women sitting on the sitting at the baseball game.
Dinkies and woohoos.
And that's when that woman talks about the book. She goes, my mom gave me that book. Every time I had sex, I just think of flowers. And then Peggy goes, you poor, poor woman.
So that's Bonnie.
Bonnie.
And she goes, every time my husband would crawl all over me at night to do his business, I'd close my eyes and just think of those pretty, pretty flowers. Bonnie, you poor woman.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. So then we get Bobby being teased at the baseball game about his mom teaching sex ed because he does. He gets a hit.
Yeah, he gets a hit.
Which is weird.
Run, Bobby, run.
Well, they say go all the way. Go all the way. Yeah, and then from the crowd you hear, go all the way, you perv. Yeah. So this family is in total turmoil at this point. Turd boil at this point. And this is when they don't need it, but they get it a call from Dale with a threat towards Peggy. You don't know me. That's how
you don't know me, but I know where you live.
Dale, are you wanting to talk to Hank?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now we've got Hank. He and Peggy are going to bed, and Hank picks up a textbook that's called "The Male Sex Organ."
Oh, and then it has
a fold out.
The fold out that's about 40 inches long. Yeah.
He's just like, oh. Yeah. And then, of course, Peggy, not fazed by any of this stuff, which she usually isn't, wants to know if he wants to put pretty feet and hands on her back. And he said, well, isn't that for your feet and hands? Oh, it makes you soft all over. She goes, I should put some on your elbows.
And then
he goes, where in the hell are my elbows going if they need to be smooth?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty funny.
And then she reinforces the fact that she's a substitute teacher. She teaches where what's needed. She goes where she needs to go.
Oh yeah, she does this.
She's a soldier.
Real doubt, like real like Knight of Honor kind of feel to it. Like, I took an oath.
That's right.
Wherever the darkness is in classrooms, for the lack of teachers, I am there.
I think that's how most substitutes feel.
Into the fray we go.
Very few of them prop their feet up on the thing and give out a worksheet. Sure.
Oh yeah, no, and that's that's one of the funny things. That's one of like the dynamics of Peggy is like there's no other substitute teacher that I ever had that really was dedicated to their job as much as he is. And like you have career teachers and you have career paraprofessionals and stuff like that, but career substitute teachers, I feel like that is a badge of honor.
That
for
is
Peggy.
A badge of honor. You're absolutely right.
For Peggy, for sure. Yeah.
And I hate how she goes away from it later, but I do love her other jobs.
Yeah, her other jobs are just as good, just as good for content for sure.
And then they get into a little bit of an argument because Hank doesn't want her to teach it. She gives the whole oath speech, and Hank reminds her of those Randy Travis tickets that they had one time, and those poor kids didn't get to make their clay ashtrays.
Yeah, yeah, because she is a huge Randy Travis fan, which there's another trivia point on this episode too. At the very end of it, I'll wait till we get to the very end, but it's another trivia point.
And then we get next day. Peggy is practicing these terrible words. She is in the mirror practicing the word vagina.
Yeah, she screams, and then she goes, vagina. And then that's when Hank says, well, you know what? We're not signing that, and I'm taking Bobby to work. Yeah, so Bobby goes to work with him, yeah.
Well, he also tells her the whole neighborhood can hear you cuss.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood can hear you cussing.
Vagina. All right, so, he decides that permission is denied now. Tries to tear it up again, and then again, one of those things that I think is very Texas. He goes, "Damn, strapping tape." And so, this strapping tape, for anybody who doesn't know, is like regular tape that you would use to wrap a gift, but it's got string in it, and so it makes it real hard to tear.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember my grandparents using that on things. I don't know why, but, it's not like we were putting a bunch of legal documents back together when I was a kid or anything. But anyway, he's very mad at the strapping tape. And then he ends up taking Bobby with him, like you said. We see Peggy going to the school. Her purse is vibrating. She has to turn that off because for some reason she's taking marital aids to school.
Yeah. I'm not sure why she did that.
Not real sure.
Not really sure. I mean, I don't remember any sex ed class I taught where they had dildos and stuff in class.
No, I don't remember any dildos sitting around.
Yeah. I don't think they used hot dogs or bananas. I mean, it was all actual visual aids on slideshows. Yeah.
Sure. Anyway, Bobby is questioning Hank the whole time. He's wondering. He goes, "What do you think Mom's telling him? What do you think she's telling him?" He says that probably 3 or 4 times, and then my favorite question from Bobby is, "Dad, do you ever have sex anymore?"
Yeah, he's sitting there asking about all these sex questions and stuff like that, and he goes, "Well, Dad, I guess I won't have sex." And he goes, "Well, I don't want to." He kind of gets upset by that. Well, don't say that.
Sure.
He said, "You're a boy." He said, "I hope one day you'll have sex."
He says, "Dad, why is it okay for boys to do it but not girls?" And Hank tells him about the double standard.
He goes, "That's the great double standard."
He says, "Don't knock it. We got the long end of the stick."
Yeah, don't knock it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the learning point in this episode of King of the Hill where Hank realizes he was wrong. He doesn't need to be mad at Peggy. And he says, your mom's not bad. She's just doing her job. He feels bad for her and talks about difference between boy and girl hookups.
Yeah.
Instead
the
of
hookups,
instead of talking about penis
calls
and
them
vaginas.
Hookups, talking about tanks. Yeah, he calls it the boys and girls hookups.
The hookups.
Yeah.
And then we get to Peggy. She's kind of struggling in the classroom. Hank brings in Bobby. We see the little wry smiles shared between them, and now everything's going to be okay. And then come to find out,
nobody has the permission slip.
It wasn't that big a deal anyway.
It wasn't that big of a deal anyway.
Yeah. And so she says if you don't have your permission slip, you can go to the library and read or whatever she says.
And the whole class leaves.
The entire class with the exception of Bobby
Except for Bobby. And that's cool, though. And that's what I liked about that show is at the end of the day, she's forced to have this conversation with her son that at the very beginning of the episode, she couldn't even say penis or vagina.
That's right.
And then now at the end of the episode, you've reached the pinnacle of her modesty and she's gotten past it. And she now can finally sit and have a conversation with her son
and what
about
I think
sex.
Is so funny, they had to leave the house to do it.
Yeah, they had to leave the house. So it's got to be like they're in this formal classroom setting to make her feel comfortable to do it. But I mean, I guess whatever it takes to teach your kids about sex, I guess.
And so we get towards the end here, and you want to tell us about the Randy Travis?
Yeah. So at the very end of the episode, you have the intimacy comes back into their relationship that was lost throughout the whole episode.
Hank sends everybody away.
Yeah, he goes, "I sent him to a double feature."
That's right, double feature like that.
And he goes over
anymore.
there and fires up the record player and spins it up. So you get the first, I believe, non-refreshment song is right here.
Yeah.
And it's I Won't Love You Anymore by Randy Travis.
Right.
And plays that song out. And that is like I said, I believe that's the first.
Well, here's one more thing.
Okay.
Well, there's 2 more things. One is they start kind of dancing, slow dancing.
Oh, they slow dance.
He talks about his smooth elbows.
Yeah, she got his elbows smooth.
And then he says something like, "I think I remember you like to be dipped."
And she said, "Watch your back."
Right.
And then when he dips her, he falls to the floor.
That's right.
Which is a
Everybody's
common
on the floor.
theme in their sex throughout the whole deal. Is it usually ends up in the living room with them falling to the floor somehow,
or on a train when
or
they fall to the floor.
When they fall. It's usually with Hank's back going out.
That's right.
It's usually how they end up having sex.
Or Peggy's big feet.
Or Peggy's feet. Yeah.
And then you hear from them. Well, as long as we're down here,
yeah. And
so,
boom, that's when it goes to black, and then you hear
and you hear Dale calling.
Yeah. And then you hear Dale's call. Yeah. But then you hear the long whine of the steel guitar.
That's right. Yep. That's it. And we've learned a valuable lesson. I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what the lesson in that one was, but I'm sure there's one there for somebody.
It just makes me feel good. I mean, it's just because again, we know these people, we know the things they're talking about, we know they're stupid friends because we've got them all.
Yeah. My parents weren't that modest, but I know people that had parents that modest, you know. So it's something that it's something that I can relate to. Now, my parents weren't modest at all, but as far as modesty goes, I did have some friends that I grew up with that. Oh yeah, you definitely could. Yeah. Peggy and Hank all over kind of thing.
I didn't know my dad had a penis till I was 35. So yeah.
well, in the 90s, I mean,
that was a rough birthday.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to point out is at the end of this, we do get the triangle and the hoot and hollering.
Yep, at the we get the hoot and holler back at the end.
And then I wanted to mention Paul Lieberstein, story editor on this, and I think writer as well.
Okay.
Paul Lieberstein is one of those guys that turns up in a lot of places. For me, being a big fan of The Office, he is Toby on The Office, the HR guy.
Oh, I know who Toby is exactly.
And he's been the writer on
Toby Henderson.
Flenderson.
Sorry, Flender, not Henderson. Flenderson, Tony Flenderson.
Yeah, he's been the writer on many of things, and very funny guy. Very
he's a really, really funny guy. He's one of those, like we've been diving into comedy. He's one of those behind the scenes guys until The Office, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's really, really funny.
Well, The Office is like a unique opportunity for him. He goes and does that, and he doesn't have to be on it all the time.
No, he doesn't.
You know, you can certainly tell when the episodes are writer heavy because certain people don't show up.
Yeah, because they're writing somewhere. Yeah, spending so much time writing on that episode.
Him, BJ Novak, Mindy Kaling, they show up sometimes. They're just not always there because they were basically the writing staff.
And then as far as like Mindy Kaling goes, she didn't really start showing up a ton until like close to the latter part of the show and stuff.
When it was kind of writing itself, I think.
I feel like that point it was on autopilot. Yeah.
But as far as King of the Hill goes, this is one of my favorite episodes just because it's so simple.
Yeah, for the first season, for sure. I definitely like the simplicity of the episode. That, and then, like, I guess the relatability to it, you know, because we've all had the sexual ed experience.
Sure.
Maybe not as young as 5th grade or 11 years old like Bobby, but I feel like everybody had an awkward experience with it. I don't think that sex ed for anybody your first time is. No. I think it's meant to be awkward. I think it's like. It has to be. I think for kids to sit in there and not feel awkward about it or whatever, like, I think. You don't have the right. You got to have sex ed has to be taught by a shitty sex ed teacher. You have to have somebody that's Peggy Hill like in order for you to learn and to be able to enjoy that class.
I want to be a part of a real life phone call where I have to call somebody and let a special or a substitute teacher know that they're teaching sex ed today.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, that would be a great phone call.
I think they would skip it and wait until the real teacher's
back.
Well,
I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a different teacher. So another cool two guys that were attached to this episode as well. You had another writer and also another director, the director on it. So another writer was Joseph Stillman.
Okay.
And he also is affiliated with The Office, I believe.
Okay.
But he also had co-wrote Beavis and Butthead movie with Mike Judge, as well as he had some involvement in Doug, Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Oh, wow.
But he also helped with the script and screenplay for Shrek 1 and 2.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty neat. And
Shrek 1 and 2 are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean...
It's just crazy the amount
I think they're all great, honestly.
Yeah,
I like them all.
But it's crazy the amount of ties we've got here for Office, Mike Judge stuff.
Oh, Saturday Night Live with Shrek.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, so you've got Greg Daniels, you've got Paul Lieberstein, you've got, what did you say this guy's name was?
This guy's Joseph Stillman.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got all these people playing in the same playroom here, you know?
Yeah, and then you have the director was a guy named Gary McCarver.
Okay.
And he was also affiliated with some Nickelodeon stuff with Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life, Cat Dog, but he also was attached to the Simpsons movie.
Oh, wow.
And the video game that came out with it. He was animation director.
So, yeah, that's what I was going to say. He was primarily a animation director.
Yeah. So he did animation directing.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool, yeah. And another thing on this episode that some trivial stuff.
By the way, at the time, really the only other animation that was on regular TV was The Simpsons. I mean, that was it, right?
I believe so.
I mean, if we're talking ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox,
there is no adult.
That was it.
It was for adult like oriented animation.
Yeah.
Like because animation, of course, was originally adults. Then it went to kids, and then in the '90s we went back to adults.
Right.
And so that adult market, the adult market only had The Simpsons and King of the Hill, and then Futurama was the next one. That was like the only three at the time.
But to be specialized in directing animation, that's
it.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, 1997 for sure. And you didn't really have a lot to really be affiliated with. You're going to be affiliated with Nickelodeon or The Simpsons and King of the Hill at the time. That was a lot of what you had.
Unless you worked for Disney or somebody.
Unless you worked for Disney.
Something like that.
But even then, Disney was in the middle of a revival phase in the 90s anyway because they had fell off in the 70s and 80s. So this is like their revival time frame is the 90s, like late 80s, like starting with like the Little Mermaid.
Yes, Little Mermaid was the one.
Yeah, and that's the one that really started them out, because when my mom said like when she was a kid, Disney was huge. Then it like phased out when when she was in her teens.
Yeah, it really did.
And into her 20s. And then she said that when she started having kids in the 80s is when it started to pick back up again and start being like for kids, and kids started having an interest in it again. So I mean, at this time for animators, there really wasn't a lot of work for directors.
Do you have anything else on this episode?
Yeah. Actually, this episode was nominated for an Emmy.
Oh.
And it also is the first appearance that I wanted to mention too.
Second episode nominated for an Emmy.
Second episode
amazing.
nominated for an Emmy.
Amazing.
So that's a good thing for sure. So the cool fun fact: this is where you get your first appearance of Stuart Dooley, who is your dad got fired. He's the kid who always just says the dumb shit on the sideline.
Your mom's teaching sex ed.
Yeah, we're gonna see your mom's boobs.
Your mom's boobs. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly what he says.
Yeah, and then you've got this is the first appearance of Strickland Propane, the business.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and this is the first appearance of the Joe Jack. Honey.
Joe Jack.
Honey.
Hey, honey.
Hey, honey. And he says honey to everybody, man, woman, child. Yeah.
Feel the meat, or taste the meat, not the heat.
Well, don't feel the meat. Yeah, let's taste.
Yeah, don't feel the meat.
Taste the meat, not the heat.
That's a sex ed class. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's for the sex ed class. But yeah, that's
Joe Jack.
That's the episode. Yeah,
that's
so
great.
that's two in the bag.
Hey, thanks, Mike Judge.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike.
We really appreciate it. And just in that same vein, let's talk about what you sent me the other day. The news came out that something was being rebooted.
Oh yeah, so the mastermind himself, Mike Judge, has decided that he was going to chalk up a deal with Paramount Plus. So he's got a deal with Paramount Plus. This is for, from what I understand about the deal, it's for what I believe will be a series,
right,
as well as hour and a half long special events,
movies, whatever you want to call it.
They don't call them movies anymore, even though they're hour long. It's a special or whatever.
Right.
Beavis and Butthead in their mid 40s, I'm going to guess by the way they looked in the. I mean, they don't look like they're in their 30s, but they so they're rebooting Beavis and Butthead for all of us that they got them as youngsters.
They didn't age well.
They did not age well, which I did not predict them to age well.
No, I don't think anybody did.
Imagine eventually at some point they picked up smoking and drinking, and maybe were already experimenting with drugs by the way they already acted. So I imagine they probably lived that hard trailer life, and it probably caught up with them.
Hard trailer life.
Yeah, I imagine they probably lived in a single wide somewhere. You know. Probably in Wisconsin. You know,
I don't doubt it. Yeah. That's pretty exciting. I was never really a Beavis and Butthead guy. I didn't, I don't know. It didn't catch me the right way. But to see him do this continuation, reboot, whatever you want to call it, with the characters aged is fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's fascinating for me too. So for me, Beavis and Butthead was more of probably like, I'm a millennial, so it'd probably be more of like a Gen X thing, I feel like, because the music and stuff that they were making fun of was like late 80s music.
Oh, yeah.
And I personally don't listen to music from the 80s. So
a lot of Motorhead.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
That's the only stuff I listen to from the 80s is metal, because I think that's the only thing that was worth anything that came out of the 80s. I don't really like a lot of pop music from the 80s at all. I mean, I could skip, music died in 1979 and wasn't born again until gangster rap in the 90s. So that's where it died for me and then was reborn. But yeah, so for me, like I didn't really catch a lot of Beavis and Butthead. The movie was pretty funny to me as as a kid, a teenager. I mean, I was probably about 10 or 11.
Well, that was your introduction to them, right?
Yeah. And then you go back and you consume all of it now, and it's funny now. I guess more funny than it was when I was a kid. But like you said, just to revisit something that you've already experienced, and then now they're aged up to not much far from my age, what I am now, I imagine. So yeah, no, that's going to be awesome. I really think that's going to be awesome. And there's still rumors and talks and whispers about a King of the Hill reboot. So if they can reboot Beavis and Butthead, we could still keep the good faith and keep our fingers and toes crossed.
Paramount Plus, I hope you're listening.
They got to reboot it.
God.
It's got to be rebooted.
Please do it.
So
please do it. As long as
we'll see.
Just as long as Mike Judge is around, let's keep putting out Mike Judge stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Mike Judge for hopefully a great long while left, and I would love to be able to see at least so my son can appreciate what I got to appreciate and let him get a King of the Hill for his generation. You know what I mean? Because it's funny to me to go back and watch King of the Hill. And my son, he likes to watch it with me, but I feel like he needs a King of the Hill for him. And I feel like if they made one for him, that'd make me so happy.
Yeah,
for his generation. It'd be funny. It'd be funny.
I just want to see Mike Judge continue to do stuff. I don't really care what it is.
I want to see Bobby Hill with Con Jr.
I do.
I do
want to see Bobby Hill all grown up.
And I feel like him and Connie probably ended up married, and then you'll have Con Jr. or Bobby Jr. or whatever you get. I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm really looking
They got
to
do it. They got to do it.
Boomhauer's still single, right?
Yeah, Boomhauer's still single.
Gotta be. He's got to still be single.
He's got to still be single. Silver Fox at this point. A Silver Fox with maybe his car's updated this time, and he's driving around in a brand new Corvette or something instead of an old, what does he drive? Like an old, it's like a Chevelle or something, like a GTO or something like that.
Yeah, I want to see that. And the only thing that scares me is Dale. Seems like he would buy wholeheartedly into the QAnon thing.
Yeah, I feel like at this point we get a bunker in the backyard, maybe.
At least.
Like at this point, he's already dug out a hole in his backyard for a bunker, and
I can very much see Dale with the horns and the stuff of the guy that was at the January 6th.
Yeah.
The guy that looked like a buffalo or whatever. I see Dale wearing that.
Yeah. You talking about the QAnon buffalo the shaman guy? Yeah. There's actually a funny interview you need to go watch. It's actually a real deal interview where he did a phone interview with a guy from prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like an hour-long interview. Oh, man, it's nuts.
With that guy?
Yeah, with that guy. Some guy named, some right-wing interviewer named Andrew something or another. I'll get you the link. But,
I'd love to have it.
It's gold on its own. It's not meant to be comedic gold, but it's gold. Wherever you can get, I'm a gold miner. Wherever I can find the gold, I'm mining it. So.
Letterman would think it's funny.
Oh yeah, it's definitely definitely something that you watch and you're like, are these guys? Is this
is it
bit,
real
or is this
not
real? Yeah, so it kind of throws you for a loop.
Okay, so we got 2 down.
That's 2 down. That's King of the Hill. Yeah,
like 1 million to go.
1 million to go. There's 13 whole seasons.
It is finite though, so that's that strikes me the right way. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. Thank you for loving King of the Hill, and
we promise it'll get better.
Oh yeah, I think this is gold.
It's gold.
I mean, we're just gonna shine it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's great. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with us. If you want to know anything about us, you can check us out at roguemedianetwork.com. And do we have anything else set up?
Like
I said, it's gold. It's comedy gold.
Do we have anything else set up?
Well, what I was thinking is like Instagram or anything like that.
We can. We should.
I think we should, right?
We should do so. I think
Instagram,
we should do something.
And then if they want to email us, they can get to us through Rogue Media.
Yeah. Well, the only 2 that matter anymore, Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah. For
audiences.
Yeah.
Getting impressions on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that are more beneficial for advertisers than anything for Facebook. I feel like as far as advertising goes, the best place for everything is just Twitter and Instagram.
We need to reach out to all the propane companies in the area.
Yeah, we should.
See if any of them want to sponsor us.
Yeah, we should. Absolutely. StarTex. I actually know somebody that works at StarTex.
Don't give them free ads.
Oh, sorry.
Techstar.
Yeah, Techstar.
That's right.
Or
That's what you meant.
Rats. But yeah, and I know a few people at a couple of these propane places. But yeah, we should do that. That'd be cool.
That'd be excellent. All right, guys, join us again next time. We will be on season 1, episode 3.
Absolutely.
See you later.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.